Going to be a review for Who Framed Roger Rabbit, 1988, directed by the great Robert Zemeckis. So this is going to be full spoilers. Um, I mean, the movie came out a long time ago, so. But I'll read the synopsis. When a cartoon rabbit is accused of murder, he enlists the help of a burnt out private investigator to prove his innocence. That pretty much sums it up. I've always loved this movie. When I was a kid, I loved this movie. I love it now watching it. It's it's such an incredible movie that would never be made today. Because for one thing, it has WB cartoon characters and Disney ones, which I think is the only time that's ever happened. Which I don't even know how that happened. Maybe because I think Spielberg produced this, so maybe he was able to do it. I'm not sure, but and some people may be like, oh, there's cartoon characters in it, and it's just this really silly movie, which it's hilarious. I mean, the movie's absolutely hilarious. Like the scene where he puts handcuffs on Roger Rabbit, and then he has to navigate the goons of the villain. He's having a very hard time because he's literally has handcuffs tied to Roger Rabbit, and then right when they leave, they just slip right off. And he's like, you could have done that at any time. It's just so good. Bob Hoskins, R.I.P. You got Christopher Lloyd, Joanne Cassidy's great. No, she's not in it that much, but she's very good as his ex girlfriend. You can tell that they care for each other, and that Bob Hoskins' character Eddie Valiant, even the name Eddie Valiant, like what a great noir name. But you can tell they care for each other and they had good times. And in this movie, I mean, they don't show it, but his Bob Hoskins and his brother ran a private detective agency, classic noir, of course. And he was killed. Piano was dropped on his head, and later you find out, how that happened, and yeah, he knows a tune did it, but he never found the tune. He remembers the laugh, the maniacal laugh, and that really shook up Eddie Valiant, and he turned to alcohol. And he's a total drunk in this movie until the end. And I don't know. I just like this movie. It's not even that long, but it's always so powerful to me. The funny scenes are funny. Like it opens on a cartoon, and that's all funny too. I love all that. Um, but there's some real depth and emotion in this movie that um I think kind of sneaks up on you. Maybe that's why it's so powerful. At least for me, like the scene where um this is right when Eddie Valiant is about to go to investigate the murder. In the beginning of the movie. Um, but the camera's slowly panning around his office, and then it goes to his, because him and his brother, it's like a desk here, and his brother desk is all full of dust, but it has like his equipment, Maybe it has like his private eye license. They have some newspapers about their exploits, and it's slowly moving, and then it moves to Eddie, and he's drunk, just passed out on his desk with, I think it's the hand on the bottle. um I don't know, it's very powerful. It's very sad. The music by Alan Silvestri is it's just incredible. I always like almost tear up at that scene. So I don't know. I'm a big fan of this movie. I mean, it is respected. People do like it a lot, but I think they forget the emotion that Hoskins shows, and Cassidy. Um, and it's just so good. It and the movie doesn't outstay its welcome. It's like an hour 35. I think it's 141 with the credits. So, but and then he goes investigates it. The voice of Roger Rabbit is amazing too. It's done by Charles Fleischer, who's in Zodiac. He's in a creepy scene in Zodiac. I mean, this guy has range, man. Because yeah, he does Roger Rabbit, Benny the Cab. So he Greasy, Psycho. I guess those are some of the goons. Um, but and there's also this subplot of the public transportation, and then it gets bought, and then spoilers later, the Christopher Lloyd, who's the villain, who, spoilers, is actually a tune. He's gonna put it out of business, and there's this interesting critique, I think, on capitalism too, because he wants to, create freeways, which they all think is a harebrained idea. And he talks about how there will be gas station, endless gas stations and endless, uh, car dealerships. And he's like, by God, it's beautiful. As Judge Doom, great villain. I mean, he's a tune, and look at his name, Judge Doom. I mean, it's like, but so creepy too when they revealed that he's a tune. But I also I love the scene where it's in Joanne Cassidy's kind of like a, I guess, a bar, restaurant. They have a little bit of food, and well, multiple scenes, but one is with Bob Hoskins. He's drinking, and he owes Joanne Cassidy some money. So and he finally got paid because he's going to take this job to investigate what's going on with Roger Rabbit. And this guy, he's like laughing, oh, who are you investigating now? This is for a tune. Who is it? Dinky Doodle or Squirrely Squirrel. And Bob Haskins just knocks his seat beneath him. Boom, hits his chin. He's about to eat a hard-boiled egg, smashes it in his face. He's like, I don't work for tunes. Because, he thinks a tune killed his brother. And Joanne Cassidy, says, a tune killed his brother, dropped a piano on his head. So yeah, she does such a good job in this also. And then the other scene in the bar, of course, is, he's trying to hide Roger Rabbit, and they're playing and he's in this back room. I think it was for speakeasies during Prohibition. They don't really use it anymore. He's in the back room, He's trying to keep him back there. I think he puts the handcuffs on him. Then he has to leave. And then he comes back, and everyone's singing and going crazy and having a great time. And Roger Rabbit is singing this song, and then the player stops, like a glitch happens, and it just keeps repeating itself. And then and then Roger Rabbit is almost on a repeat, and then he starts like smashing this stuff on his head, and it's just so good because it's like, it's animation mixed with live action, and it just works so well. I mean, now it would just be CGI, and I guess they would still shoot, they still shoot it. Just wouldn't be the same though. It just has that feel of those old school cartoons, Tom and Jerry, and the great old WB ones, and then Mickey Mouse, and Goofy. I mean, they're even in a theater and they're showing a Goofy short. Donald Duck, um, all those great characters, and I'm a big fan of the old cartoons. From the, I guess, from like the 30s and 40s, maybe into the 50s, but they just don't make them like that anymore. I mean, they're just fun. There's not political stuff really going on. I mean, here and there, maybe during World War II, there was, but um, it's just a good old time. Like I'm thinking of even like the original Steamboat Willie and stuff like that. So, but yeah, and then I love that scene, and then Bob Hoskins goes back into the bar, and he's like, "What the heck's going on? I'm supposed to be hiding you." Then he goes and throws him in the back, and then right after that, Judge Doom walks in, and he's looking for Roger Rabbit because he's going to kill him, and he's devised a way to kill Toons with the dip, which is very dark. And when he actually kills a Toon near the end, very brutal and scary. Remember as a kid that scared me, because it's something like with Toons, like they never die really. They get hit with car 100 times, or get an explosion underneath them, and then they're back in the next episode. So puts a real darkness and finality to the movie. So yeah, Christopher Lloyd gives a great performance, and it's just a very powerful movie that we'll never really see again. But if you haven't seen it, check it out. I mean, even with some of the spoilers I've said, I don't think it matters that much. I mean, the twist that he's a Toon is a good twist, and you're like, whoa. But I think maybe some people could guess that he is. And of course, Zemeckis worked with Christopher Lloyd before in the Back to the Future. So he worked with him here. I mean, for my money, this is one of Zemeckis' best. I think his best is Back to the Future, the first one. And I'd probably go with this one, I think. And then maybe Back to the Future 2, 3, and then probably Castaway. Although I don't really like the ending of Castaway, but I know a lot of people don't. So I remember seeing that movie in the theater and was like, I really love the movie, but I'm just not crazy about the ending. So, but it's just this movie's so good. So yeah, it's the some of the trivia. The movie is the first and only, as of 2023, time cartoon characters from Walt Disney and Warner have appeared together on screen. Since the movie was being made by Touchstone Pictures, Warner Bros. Would only allow use of their biggest cartoon star, Bugs Bunny and Daffy Duck. Oh yeah, and the scene with Daffy Duck is so good. Um, but like those cartoons, but yeah, Bugs Bunny, Daffy Duck, and then this and the scene with them dueling pianos in that club where you see Jessica Rabbit, who for a cartoon character is very sexy, and it's probably the best looking cartoon character ever. I'd say Betty Boop is in that scene too. She's like, um, since the movies went color, work's been a little scat, but I still got it, Eddie. He's like, yeah, you do. Um, but yeah, I love that scene with Daffy Duck and Donald Duck, and they're both playing the piano dueling, and then they start like one pulls a cannon out and shoots them, and it's just so good. Um, like yeah, for me this is a very special movie because it feels very it's odd because it feels very real and very dramatic, but at the same time it's hilarious. So I guess that's the script and Zemeckis. But Bugs Bunny and Daffy Duck, if they got as much screen time as Mickey Mouse and Donald Duck, for that reason, they were always in pairs, such as the piano battle between Daffy and Donald, and the parachute scene with Bugs and Mickey. This was continued with Porky Pig and Tinker Bell at the movie's endings. Well, I mean, it's a Disney movie, Disney Touchstone. So you got to give Warner Brothers that. Like, they're willing to play ball. I don't know if they saw some of the back end, or if they saw some of the money. How much did this make, actually? But you do got to give it to Warner Brothers, though. They didn't have to do that. Oh, wow. It was huge. 329 million. Wow. Back in 1988. It's a lot of money. So they probably did. But wow, that's hilarious. Bob Hoskins said that for 2 weeks after seeing the movie, his young son wouldn't talk to him. When he finally asked why, his son said he couldn't believe his father would work with cartoon characters such as Bugs Bunny and not let him meet them. That's hilarious. That's such like a little kid thing. It's like they don't exist. Like it's all done after the fact. When Eddie takes Roger Rabbit into the back room at the bar where Dolores works to cut apart the handcuffs, the lamp from the ceiling is bumped and swinging. Lots of extra work was needed to make the shadows match between the actual room and the shots in the animation. Today, bump the lamp is a term used by many Disney employees to refer going that extra mile on an effort just to make it a little more special. The first test audiences were mostly 18 to 19-year-olds who hated it. After almost the entire audience walked out of the screening, Zemeckis, who had final cut, said he wasn't changing a thing. Good. I guess maybe I don't know, they're not interested in that. Um, it's an interesting movie because, like I said, it has darkness and gravitas and drama and emotion, and it's hilarious too. So I mean, to me, it's like a family movie. Like like a mother and father and their children. That's who they should have showed it to, I think. Okay, Jessica Rabbit was performed by Kathleen Turner. Her singing voice was Amy Irving. Only Irving was credited. Oh. During the production, there was a disagreement over the way the Looney Tunes characters should look. Warner Bros. Wanted the filmmakers to use the character as they appeared in the merchandising at the time, while the producers insisted on having the characters looking the way they had looked at the time period where they were set in, the mid to late 40s. Dummy footage using the modern design was sent to Warner Brothers for approval, while the animators used the period appropriate designs in the actual film. Tim Curry auditioned for the role of Judge Doom. Zemeckis, Spielberg, Katzenberg, and Eisner found his performance quite terrifying. Yeah, well, I mean, I love Tim Curry, but I think they went the right way. Oh, Zemeckis recounts that he had stated in a newspaper interview that Bill Murray was his and executive producer Spielberg's original choice for the role of Ed Valiant. Really, but neither could get in contact with him in time. Murray, in turn, has stated when he read the interview, he was in a public place but still screamed his lungs out because he would have definitely accepted the role. Yeah, I could see that maybe, but again, I think the movie's like perfect, so wouldn't change a thing. The movie's line, "I'm not bad, I'm just drawn that way," was voted as the 83rd 100 greatest movie lines of all time. Bob Hoskins claimed that Jessica Rabbit was not yet sketched by the animators when filming wrapped and had no idea what the characters would look like. Zemeckis told Hoskins to imagine his ideal sexual fantasy. Hoskins claimed that his mental image was less risque than what Jessica looked like in the completed film. So, Roger Ebert gave it 4 out of 4 stars. He said, Who Framed Roger Rabbit is the kind of movie that gets made once in a blue moon because it represents an immense challenge to the filmmakers. They have to make a good movie while inventing new technology at the same time. Like 2001, Close Encounters in E.T., this movie is not only great entertainment, but a breakthrough in craftsmanship. The first film to convincingly combine real actors and animated cartoon characters in the same space, in the same time, and make it look real. Never seen anything like it before. Roger Rabbit and his cartoon comrades cast real shadows. They shake the hands and grab the coats and rattle the teeth of real actors. They change size and dimensions. So yeah, he's a huge fan of it. The movie is funny, but it's more than funny. It's exhilarating. It opens with what looks like a standard studio cartoon. The cartoon itself, seen apart from the movie, is a masterpiece. Can't remember the last time I laughed as hard at an animated short. But then when a stunt goes wrong and the cartoon baby stalks off the set and lights a cigar and tells the human director to go to hell, we know we're in for a new and special universe. You see, I also like how it does that with the cartoons. Is that instantly sets up this world where these characters really exist, and directors, like human directors, have to shoot them with a camera. Um, so that's a really effective way to start the movie. It's hilarious sequence. Reminds you of the great old cartoons, but at the same time, it's telling the it's setting up the world where there literally are cartoons as they call them, and there is a toon town that they live in, which of course Disney would later make into Toontown at Disneyland. One tricky question is raised by a movie like this: is it for kids or adults or both? I think it's intended as universal entertainment. That's what I think. Like E.T. or Wizard of Oz, aimed at all audiences. But I have a sneaking hunch that adults will appreciate it even more than kids because they'll have a better appreciation of how difficult it was to make, how effortlessly it succeeds. Kids will like it too, but instead of being amazed at how they got the rabbits in with the humans, they'll be wondering what adults are doing walking around inside a cartoon. Right. So yeah, so wow, 4 out of 4 stars. That's what I'd give it to. To me, it's a perfect movie. I wouldn't change anything about it. I've always loved it. Like I said, and Zemeckis has made many great movies. Um, Interesting thing is this was shot by I think he's my favorite cinematographer. You know, most people say other people, than but for me, Dean Cundy, I think is my favorite cinematographer of all time. He shoots the movie, and man, he is the man. I mean, he shot Jurassic Park, Apollo 13, Escape from New York, Who Framed Roger Rabbit, The Thing. Shot a bunch of Carpenter stuff. Nothing But Trouble. I think that's a funny movie. Back to the Future, one, two, three. Tales from the Crypt. Big Trouble, Little China. The Thing, Psycho 2, Halloween 3, Halloween 2, Halloween 1, Fog. Just, man, what a career. Fortunately, I don't know what he's been doing lately. I haven't really seen. Oh, he shot some of The Mandalorian. Okay, that's cool. Book of Boba Fett, I haven't seen that, but all right, right on. So some people at Lucasfilm made some good decisions. I mean, making The Mandalorian was a good decision, to be fair to a Lucasfilm. I heard Book of Boba Fett was boring and bad, but you know, at least they're like, hey, let's can we get Dean Cundy to shoot some of this? So that's smart. But you know, I don't have much more to say. I mean, Alan Silvestri's music is so good. It has so much energy in it, but at the same time, you know, drama and emotion. Especially like all this stuff between Bob Hoskins and his brother, who's never on. I mean, he's in pictures and stuff, but I think you really feel the relationship and his loss, and then at the end of the movie or near the end, when he gets the cartoon gun and all the cartoon bullets, which is just hilarious. It's just so funny. And then he pulls out, you know, some whiskey, and then he's about to take a drink, but then the music starts playing, and then I think he starts to think, like, you know, like what am I doing, you know, what have I become? And then I think he, you know, and then he throws the bottle away, and then he shoots it with one of the cartoon bullets. I mean, the taxi cab is hilarious. The little baby is hilarious because it smokes cigars, and you know it likes beautiful women. The little baby, and it speaks like an adult. It's just so good. But yeah, it's saying movies that blend live action animation, like that movie If from Ryan Reynolds is coming out. I don't know, maybe he's a big fan of this movie too, maybe. But I watched the trailer for that, and I just don't care. But you know, it's not made for me, so what do I know? But um, yeah, Who Framed Roger Rabbit? I mean, truly one of the greats, and definitely check it out if you haven't. I mean, I know I just spoiled the plot, but I don't think it really matters. I think it's a very watchable, you know, powerful, hilarious movie that we'll never really see again. So, but That's about it. R.I.P. Bob Hoskins, one of my favorite actors, definitely. And I think he does an amazing job. So, but yeah, check it out. Like, comment, subscribe, and see you next time.